the library with suggestions for guests and topics.
Great events, programs, and faculty. All the factors are useful.
Welcome to this week's segment of Dialogue Houston. I'm your host, Lawrence Payne. To our regular viewing audience, welcome. To those joining us perhaps here for the first time for HCC's TV Dialogue Houston, we can be found now every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. and again on Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. As always, at the top of the show, let me thank you for your thoughtful calls, emails, and text messages concerning previous shows we've aired here on HCC's TV Dialogue Houston, but particularly your great ideas for topics, guests, and subjects to be covered on upcoming segments. But after all, this is your community affairs, public affairs show here on HCC TV, proudly in its 30-some years of doing this with you. And we really have developed a wonderful network of people, followers and watchers. We do a lot of programming now, and many of you who come to our programs, the most recent one the other evening at the Houston Public Library Central Branch, we had a great discussion on education with Dr. Ruth Lopez Turley from Rice. A couple of you came over and said how much you enjoy Dialogue Houston and that you heard about the program on that. So we want to thank you for that. This is our once a month feature segment on the Houston Public Library entitled Living in New Knowledge. And the name comes from this card, the link card, Living in New Knowledge. If you don't have a link card, you should get a link card. This is the library card, very easy to get. And it opens all kinds of doors. You have access to things you wouldn't even believe that you can reach by having this card. Not only here in Houston, but in all across the country. So it's very important to do so. So joining me this week are two of our wonderful staff from HPL, Mercedes Clarke, who is the Division Manager of Community Engagement, and she's going to talk to us about outreach and all the things that we're doing there. And then also Christina Grubitz, who is the Curator of all things art. And she's going to tell us about a whole bunch of stuff that's going on related to art and how you can get involved and come visit us both at the Central and at Gregory School. And also to let you know how deeply we are involved in these kind of exhibits. We have them all the time on different subject matters throughout the year, from Black History Month to Asian Pacific Islander Month to Hispanic Heritage Month to, and it just goes on and on. Next month in March is Women's History Month, so there'll be some exhibits around that. So without further ado, let me welcome Mercedes. Welcome to Dialogue Houston. It's so great to have you. How are you this afternoon?
So great. Thank you, Larry, for having me.
Well, your part on the outreach is so important because you're going to talk about how people can access and make it very simple to not only get a high school diploma and certificate, but all the other things that we serve and we do in that arena that a lot of people are probably not aware of. So I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you talk a little bit, and I'll come back and ask you some questions. Welcome, Mercedes.
Thank you, Larry. I'm very, very excited to talk to everyone in Houston about the career online high school that we have. You know, we have one number, it's very concerning to us. Almost 500,000 Houstonians over the age of 25 do not have a high school degree. And that's very concerning to everyone, especially here at the Houston Public Library, because we know for a fact that in about 10 years, 70% of the jobs in Houston are going to require something past the high school degree. And so responding to those numbers and to that, we have decided to partner with some of our vendors and education providers to put together a career online high school, which is completely online, 24/7 access to a high school diploma, accredited, so that, you know, it's not one of those diploma factories that you see online sometimes and scams. This is an accredited program that not only helps adults over 21 get their high school diploma, it also helps them leave with a workforce certificate in areas where they choose either healthcare, education, manufacturing, commercial driving, retail management, and so many others. So we're ecstatic, and what excites us even more is that we have, Larry, about 20 to 30 scholarships available for folks out there who want to come back and get their high school diploma. I'm all for completing your education. A lot of folks go the GED route, but GED can become a little expensive, right? Because they all have to take not only the courses, but they also have to go and pay for the tests, right? Whereas here, we're giving an opportunity to almost 30 Houstonians to come back to high school and complete their high school diploma. So that's exciting, and thank you for giving us the space to announce this wonderful program.
And let's talk about the certificate programs for a moment, because I'm always amazed that some of those certificate programs with investments of a few hours can yield a salary that is phenomenal for a certificate program. Sometimes as much as $50,000, $60,000 just starting off. And there's a great demand in a city like Houston for those particular trades that come from those certificate programs. Tell us a little about those.
Well, there are tons actually. Tons of jobs in what we call the middle skills
Mm-hmm.
that give you a living wage, something that you can build a career on. Healthcare. I mean, you have things like radiation technology. You have skills like HVAC, welding. You have tons in the healthcare. I mean, medical assistants. You don't have to go for a doctor's degree to start getting your foot in the door. And education's the same way. You don't have to go to 4 or 5 years to become a teacher. There are so many other paraprofessional
Mm-hmm.
certificates and jobs out there just waiting for Houstonians. The Greater Houston Partnership and their Upskills Houston program dives very much into how many jobs and how many Houstonians can just sometimes with, maybe an 8-month
Yeah.
certificate
Yeah.
can go out and get a job. I know for a fact that, there are tons of folks who go for paralegal certificates that take them 2 months and then later on decide, hey, this is great. I'd like to become a lawyer, and then go the route of a
Right.
4-year college. So there are tons of opportunities for entrance into the workforce that will not necessarily be minimum wage.
One of the
Right?
ones that I'm familiar with, because I remember I featured it on when we were in the studio still doing a Dialogue Use a few years ago, was a medical calibration, calibrating medical equipment in the medical center. That's a certificate program. That person was making great money. It's one of those jobs that all that stuff has to always be calibrated. And so it's
Absolutely.
definitely a great job security position also. So anyway, so let's talk about the flexible classes, because the thing that's so interesting about all this stuff that we do, we make it very easy if one wants to engage and have it work around their schedule and work, because there is a great flexibility built in, because we're trying to serve and make sure we meet the needs of all those students.
Absolutely. And that's why we've taken this program online. So it's an online on demand. So we have students who access these courses, the regular 8 to 5. There are some folks who come in who already have a job. And so they might be on a second shift and they only have time in the middle of the night to take these courses. This is a self-paced program. And the wonderful thing about the self-paced program is that regardless of whether you are on your own, you're really not, because the education provider also gives you access to your own academic coach. So if you're having a few struggles, or you need to talk to someone or chat with someone who can help you through this, you are assigned an academic coach that you have access to 24/7. It's fabulous.
Yeah, let's be clear on that. At no additional cost, you
Exactly.
have access to a coach.
Yes.
And most people would love to have a coach who need it because usually that somehow they have to pay for that extra. This comes with the program.
Yes.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
Well, I'll beat it. I'll
All
beat
right,
it one more time. I'll
go
tell
ahead.
you what. Every one of the people who come and are accepted into the scholarship program also get to take home a Chrome book
Oh, really? Okay.
for 10 months so they can access their classes. So the library is allowing these scholarship recipients to check out a Chromebook. It's like a little
Right.
thin
Oh, yeah.
laptop
Right.
to
Right.
go and yes, the technology is included in the scholarship.
So we then also help them to get to that final stage. Now that we've done the coursework, we've gotten toward the degree, we're working on the certificate.
Mhm.
Now it's all about the resume, the cover letter, and the job interview.
Yes,
So we help them through all of those phases also.
absolutely. And if they are interested in talking to someone about the possibility of going into college or community college, that you have the Houston Public Library has Cafe College
Right.
available too, where
Mhm.
we advise and help people apply for scholarships to pay their way to go to college. Absolutely. So it's almost like a full service, right?
Right. Right.
Exactly.
Well,
We're here to support. The Houston Public Library is here to support. And you know what? The only thing they need.
yep. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There it is. Right there.
There it is. There
There
it
it is.
is.
Yep.
That's what they
Gotta
need.
have it. You gotta have it.
Gotta have it to access all of it. But we are really thankful that the Texas State Library Archives Commission was awarded the Houston Public Library a nice sizable fund to make this happen. And so we have until the end of June to award these 30 scholarships, and we're hoping that we'll we've gotten 10 so far, so we're
All right.
almost halfway there.
Before I shift over to Christina, would tell everyone how they can reach you.
Well, they can reach me directly through Clarke with an E at houstontx.gov, or they can go ahead and go into the houstonlibrary.org website to look up Career Online High School. They can also come to us through Cafe College Houston, which is the Houston Public Library's Career and College Readiness Center, or they can also call us 832-393-1378, which is the community engagement team, and 1737, which is the Cafe College team.
All right. Thank you.
All
We'll come back to you with one closing thought probably, but I want to make sure I get to Christina. Christina is our curator and is going to tell us all about some great things that's happening in her arena. Welcome.
Hi, Larry, for having me. We have two very special exhibits right now. I am currently in one of them. This is called Our Vibrant AAPI Community, Selections from the Houston Asian American Archive. So basically, with this one, we partnered with the Houston Asian American Archive that's over at Rice University to create this exhibit. And so a lot of the items that are in this exhibit are stored in their archive, but some are from community members. A lot of the artwork, for example, is not part of the archive. It comes directly from the artists. And so the basic idea behind this exhibit was to highlight the Asian community in Houston, which I don't think we've really done at least in this exhibit hall. So.
No, and we haven't, and so glad that we are doing it because it's such a growing, important part of our population and demographic groups here in Houston. That backdrop that you're in there is actually very beautiful. So tell us how and when one can come to the exhibit there.
So basically, you can come during our building open hours, this is the Julia Idison building, 550 McKinney, and we're right across from City Hall and next door to Central Library downtown. I think our building hours, I believe, are 10 to 5 or 6. Sorry, we just changed them. So
Right, we
yeah.
have this change. It.
So Monday through Saturday, we're open. Except for the Saturday because we're closed for the rodeo. But besides that, we're open.
And you have a second exhibit going on at the same time for African American History Month, do you not?
Correct, we do. So over at the African American Research Center at the Gregory School, we have the 2022 citywide African American Artists Exhibition. And that was basically every 2 years, the University Museum at Texas Southern University and the Museum of Fine Arts Houston puts a call out for African American artists in the greater Houston area. And they put on an exhibition. It's a juried show. And this year we were lucky enough to be on their community tour. So it first started at the University Museum at Texas Southern University, and then it went and was exhibited at the Glisell School at the Museum of Fine Arts.
And the other one that I'm really excited about is this thing called, I guess, Art in the City that you're doing that covers all areas: theater, writing, dance, printing, et cetera. Tell us a little bit about that.
I'm actually not part of that program. So.
Oh, is that you, Mercedes? No, it's not you. The Heart program, the Heart Camp, Listen to Your Art.
No, I was just told about that.
Yeah, that's us. That's
okay,
us.
That's what I thought.
Actually.
I knew it was one. I knew it was one of you. So go ahead, tell me about it.
Yes, yes. That art camp is our first inaugural camp. We have partnered with some of our collaborators like the Museum of Fine Arts, the Contemporary Arts Museum, UH Public Arts. We've partnered with the ballet, and what we're doing is that we are launching our art camp. It's called Camp Heart. Listen to Your Art.
I love it. A little play on heart there. Go ahead.
Yes, a play of words. And it launches in the spring, during spring break. So we're going to have one. It's going to be over at the Carnegie Neighborhood Library from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., but it's going to culminate on a Friday showcase and performance for the parents. So we are really, really happy to launch it. This is our very first art camp. We're hoping, that this pilot will launch a new series of art camps or in different libraries next spring break. So.
And I saw a reference to Edgar Allan Poe.
That is our theme. We are tying it all into a literary theme. So the theme is Edgar Allan Poe this year.
And I was so glad to see that it was Edgar Allan Poe, because one of the things all of us as school children learned was The Raven. If you didn't learn any other poem, and actually I learned it and had to recite it 100 million times, more than I care to admit, it's kind of stuck with me. It's one of those that once it's in your head, it doesn't go anywhere. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and clever volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping at my gentle chamber door. It's stuck in your head.
And it's the one that made him famous. It's the one that made him famous. That's absolutely right.
But
absolutely
I say that because there was a time, literally, for all of us in school, we all learned that poem, among a lot of other poems, but it was required. And you wasn't going to leave until you knew The Raven. And you knew the history of the Raven and why the Raven was a love song, a love poem for a broken-hearted lover, and yada, yada, yada. But it was very important. All right, I want to make sure before we run out of time that I switch to one of the most fun things I think we do, because I've talked to parents and kids who have gone through it, and they love it every year, and that's Camp Scream.
Oh, yes.
Camp Scream it's a week free. It's a week free camp, and free is the operative word. It gives many students a chance to experience a summer camp, who otherwise would not, because it's cost prohibitive for many of these camps. We got camps all over Houston in the summer, but the price of some of those are almost off the chart. But this is a wonderful week, free for K through 12. So tell us about Camp Scream.
Well, this year we're doing 3rd grade to 12th. Actually.
3rd to 12th. Okay.
3rd grade to 12th, right?
Okay.
So this is our 10th anniversary camp, which means that this year we've spent much time revamping the whole curriculum. It's brand new material. If you've been in our camp stream before, you are not going to see the same thing this year. So we have some great activities. We're launching 4 in person and 2 mini virtual because we want to keep the virtual option. So we're going to have Camp Stream done at our new Kendall location, our Kendall library up in the West. We're going to have it at Blue Ridge, which is down by Missouri City. We're going to have another one at Central Library, another one at the Carnegie Library. And then, of course, we're going to have 2 mini virtual camps. So yes, completely free. This is an all-day event. It's an all-week, Monday to Friday, 8 to 4:30 p.m. Absolutely. We will start registrations for that, Larry, in May.
But they fill up quick. They fill up quick.
Yes, May, the first Monday in May is usually the one that we launch, and it fills up quick, except that this year we're going to stagger registration.
Okay.
So we're going to accept registrations for the first 2 camps, and then we're going to wait another 2 weeks, and then the next 2 camps, just to get more participation from, more opportunities for all the parents.
Right.
Last year we had the camps were filled up in the first 2 days of registration, and it didn't give a chance for other parents calling in July, for example, to get on the list. Now we're going to be a little more equal and equitable in that. And so, yes, it is completely free. We're really thrilled to have it. It is sponsored by the Powell Foundation, and partly funded by them, and of course the Houston Public Library Foundation too.
And SCREAM stands for Science, Technology, Reading, Engineer, Arts, and Math.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? You need one of these to get in.
Yeah, I keep holding this little card up because people
I'm
don't
telling
realize
you, they
this
need
is the
to
key.
be
This is
a
the key to
member.
everything. Key to everything. All right. So let's kind of talk in general. Christina, also jump in here. Anything that in your area that we have not touched on that you want to make sure you mention to our audience that you're doing or coming up events?
Sure. So we're going to have some programming in conjunction with this exhibit. On March 25th at 11 a.m., we're going to have HPL x HAAA present Dancing Across Asian America. And it'll be a dance performance with the Anjali Center for the Performing Arts, which is an Indian performing arts group. Dance of Asian America, which does Chinese dance, and Rhea Sampilo, she's a Filipina American modern dancer. So that's March 25th at 11. And then in April, we will have a poetry reading, April 22nd at 11 a.m. And basically we're gonna have a poet from Vietnam, Nepal, and from China. And that should be a lot of fun. And then we just set a date for our fashion show in May, which will be May 20th at 2:00 p.m. And that's with Chloe Dow, Tina Zulu, and Anthony Pablano as our.
Oh, that's always a great event.
Well, it's actually, I think, our first fashion show.
Okay, but we've done stuff with Chloe Dow before, haven't we, in the past?
Yes. So we've done panel discussions with her before, but this will actually have models walking down a runway.
A real fashion show. All right.
Yes.
All right. And all of these events can be found on our website?
Correct, on houstonpubliclibrary.org.
Okay. I think it's so important that people realize to constantly check out the website. There's a whole plethora of stuff. The pages are full. You have to scroll down many pages to get through the months of stuff. There's stuff every day on all sectors, all neighborhood branch libraries all across the city. So you need to really be aware of that website going forward. And get your library card, which is also very important. So let's talk in a couple of minutes we have left for both of you. What do you see? Libraries are morphing and changing every day. We're adapting, we're pivoting, we're being very outwardly looking, very progressive. In your particular work in areas that you dwell into, what do you see as some of the major significant changes coming in the next few years?
Wow. When it comes to the area of community engagement and education, Larry, what I see coming down the pipeline, and this is like a wink, wink on the side, I think we are going to start investing in some technology, virtual technology that's
Mhm.
going to help access classes like HVAC, things that are hands-on. So we're going to have laptops probably that are 3D enabled, and then we're going to give that access to the public so
Right.
that they can pursue certifications. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's going to be important because the technology piece is what's going to enable us to reach a whole wide audience and have everybody participate. And Christina, I really love the art stuff. I love that we're getting people exposed more to the exhibits, that people are understanding the richness of the heritage of cultures here in Houston. And we continue to make sure we showcase that in all of the stuff we do. And the gallery there in the Julie Otterson building is always changing with all kinds of different exposures to that. Anything coming up? What's the next exhibit? Do we kind of know what's afterwards once we take this one down?
Sure. After this one, we're actually getting an exhibit from the Bush Center. You know, President Bush paints portraits, among other things. A few years ago, we had Portraits of Courage, which was his paintings of veterans. And so this summer, we're going to have, it's called Out of Many, One.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and so it's portraits of immigrants this time.
Yeah, and his artwork is really quite good. He's found his niche in retirement, so to speak. All right, we're gonna have to get out of here. I want to thank you both for being on this segment of Houston Public Library's Living in New Knowledge. We will continue to feature the great work that the Houston Public Library does in future segments of Dialogue Houston. We want everybody to always go to the website and check out all the great opportunities there that can be found on the website. It is your Houston Public Library, free, open to the public. Free is the main word here, free. Again, accessible with this, which is also free. And it becomes important to level the playing field, to provide opportunity for everyone, to make sure that we do everything to access equity and have things open to everyone. And the library is the great repository of being able to help level that playing field and to provide equal opportunity to everyone. Until we come back together again, please, as always, stay well, be safe, and until then, peace, power, and love.